So, folks, first, I wanted to kind of ground us a little bit before we go off into the insanity of the day that we're sitting on like the precipice of like electoral history. And when I say that, what I mean by it is that Fox News put out a poll, and of course, Fox News, does the Fox News thing. They're massaging it as much as they can. But one of the crazy findings in this poll is the survey shows if the election were today, 52% of voters would back the Democratic candidate in their House district and 46% the Republican. That's a 6-point edge, which is right at the poll's margin of sampling error. Now, that might not seem super impressive until I tell you that that's the generic ballot. That's taking out any other consideration, like what their positions are, whatever. If there's a Democrat on a ballot and a Republican on that ballot, the Democrat has 52% of the vote, which in a democracy, that's pretty meaningful. But here's another thing to know about that finding. It is that in the entire history of polling, there is not another generic ballot weighted as heavily for either party that has ever been recorded. The last closest was when Democrats had 50% support on the generic ballot in 2017. So this is a really devastating find. Like we're talking when the last major blue wave happened that was already historic in scope. This is historic in scope even more. Like, if this at all like tracks to how the midterm elections play out, we're gonna be looking at like something I don't know that anyone in this country has ever seen before election wise, and I'm just putting out there that one of the things that we have to do going forward is we have to fight hard and fight like the devil, all right? In order to make sure that we are able to have elections as free and as fair as we can make them, okay? Because the reality is there is no possible way for them to win these upcoming elections with these numbers unless they try to rig the election. And some of the initial reporting on this, like the raid on the election office in Georgia, the Fulton County election office, the attempt to secure voter rolls, the attempt to link foreign interference into the election, all of this indicates that they are going to try. They're going to do their damnedest to try to rob us of free and fair elections. We cannot let them do that. We cannot let them do that. And that is why every single day I get on this show, and multiple times throughout the show, I tell you guys, hey, get organized in your community. Because no one of us organized on the state level is going to be able to stop this. It is going to take all of us organizing locally and working together with other communities across the state to ensure free and fair elections. Every single one of us has to get involved somehow. Okay? Who's going to stop them from cheating, though? Us. We live in a democracy. Like there are people called poll watchers. You can volunteer on election day to go watch the polls and stop people from trying to cheat or influence voters or like intimidate them away from the polls. There are people who do that every year. You could organize a gigantic community push in order to make sure no one is making these elections unfair. All right? You can do things on the state level. If your community is locally organized, you can organize further with other communities on the state level in order to make sure that your state has your election system on lockdown. Because it is not the federal government who administers the election, it is the states. And if you think, oh, well, I live in a red state, there are other Democrats that live in red states. There are other people on the left. There are leftists in the middle of redneck country, okay? Do not let yourself be lulled into this doomer mentality that there's nothing we can do, that, oh, all is lost. Look, Tulsi Gabbard was spotted at an elections office. It's all over. It is not all over. You just gotta show up. You gotta show up at your local meetings. You gotta show up. You gotta organize. Join your local Dems. Join your local DSA. Show up at your city council meetings. Do the things. And 90%, 95% of what I'm asking you to do is just to show up. And folks, I am encouraging you, if you don't know where to start, we have been endeavoring to build you guys an onboarding ramp here in this community. Join the Discord, reach out to GamerG for help joining your local DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help joining your local Dems and radicalizing them. And folks, we work together as a community in order to move both the DSA and the local Dems in more productive directions, more progressive leftist directions. You can be part of that. Okay? We need to be organizing, and we need to be organizing with the awareness that they're going to try some shit. But that regardless of them trying shit, we still have to win. Look back on history, folks. Look back on American history in particular. There are so many times throughout American history where people were more oppressed at the voting booth than we are right now. That where the voting booths were more rigged than they are going to try to rig them. And yet we have come through all of that by organizing and showing up for one another. Okay? That's what we gotta do. And I know a lot of you guys are tired. I know a lot of you all are tired. But we gotta do this for us. No one else is coming to do it. So, get organized, folks. Join your local Dems. Join your local DSA. We'll help you here in the Discord. And, folks, if we can ensure that election day goes through, we are going to be able to do some incredible things in the months and years while Donald Trump is still president. Or at least,
I put the General Strike U.S. strategy, a 5-step path to liberation in the Discord. Protest in Milwaukee today.
Yeah, there are a lot of other ways to organize towards our end goal. And also, working with local unions to organize more and longer and better general strikes than just one day. Excellent strategy. Excellent strategy. So folks, that's what I'm asking you guys to do. I hope you'll do it. If you got anything out of this, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment longer than 8 words on the video, and check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Tested on cis men, cis women, non-binary folks, and non-tucking lingerie. Check it out. New colors and styles coming in the near future, and sizes as well. And yeah, folks, we need to win these elections so we can well and truly melt some ice. Very true, Zoe Vexed. That being said, let's keep on going.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.